For centuries, millions of enslaved Africans in America endured brutal conditions, forced labor, families torn apart, violence at every turn. Yet within all that nightmare, they found countless ways to fight back through secret sabotage, by escaping, by preserving culture and language, and sometimes by raising up in open rebellion. Imagine being watched your every waking moment, your every move controlled. No weapons, no rights, no freedom to gather without permission. Even learning to read could mean losing a hand or your life. Still, enslaved people resisted every day. They broke tools, slowed work, feigned illness. They taught their children forbidden knowledge. They ran, they sang, they coded songs, they pointed the way north. And some risked everything to fight back openly, knowing that capture meant certain death. Here are 10 enslaved people who led or inspired revolts that struck fear in the hearts of their slaveholders, proving that bondage could never fully crush the human will to be free. Gabriel Prosser in 1800. Gabriel, a skilled blacksmith near Richmond, Virginia, planned a massive uprising. Hundreds of slaves were ready to storm the city, seize weapons, and demand freedom. Heavy rains delayed the plan, and informers betrayed him. Gabriel was captured and hanged, but his vision lived on. Denmark Vesey, a free black man and former slave in Charleston. Vesey plotted one of the biggest planned revolts in 1822. He organized thousands of enslaved people to rise, kill slaveholders, and escape to Haiti. Again, betrayal stopped the plan before it could ignite. Vesey and 34 followers were executed. Nat Turner. In 1831, Nat Turner, a preacher and mystic, led perhaps the most famous slave rebellion. He and his followers killed about 55 white people in Southampton County, Virginia, spreading terror through the South. Turner evaded capture for months, but was eventually hanged. Laws grew harsher, but so did the fear among slaveholders. Charles Deslandes, in 1811. Deslandes, born in Saint Domingo, now Haiti, helped lead the largest slave uprising in U.S. history, the German Coast Uprising near New Orleans. Hundreds of slaves, armed with farm tools and captured weapons, marched on New Orleans, burning plantations along the way. They were met with brutal force. Many were killed or executed, their heads put on pikes as warnings. Madison Washington in 1841. Madison led a revolt aboard a slave ship, Creole. Enslaved people overpowered the crew and sailed the ship to the Bahamas, where Britain had abolished slavery. More than 100 people gained their freedom, a victory that shook American slave traders. Jimmy, leader of the 1739 Stono Rebellion in South Carolina. Jimmy and about 20 enslaved people raided a store for weapons, killing white settlers as they marched towards Spanish Florida, where freedom was promised. Dozens joined, but the militia caught up. The rebellion was crushed, but inspired new fears and harsher laws. Tacky in Jamaica, 1760. Tacky, a West African leader, organized hundreds to seize weapons, kill slave masters, and burn plantations. The revolt was crushed, but it inspired other revolts across the Caribbean and assured other masters that they could never sleep easy. Celia, 1855. Celia was just 19 years old when she killed her enslaver in self-defense against years of sexual assault. Though she wasn't a general leading an army, her act was rebellion, defying her enslaver's absolute power. She was tried and hanged, but her name lives as quiet resistance made flesh. Samuel Sharp. Samuel Sharp led the 1831 Baptist War in Jamaica, also called the Christmas Rebellion. Up to 60,000 enslaved people rose up, demanding freedom and wages. It was crushed by British troops, but the scale and courage of the revolt hastened Britain's decision to abolish slavery 2 years later. Nanny of the Maroons, a legend in Jamaica and the Caribbean. Nanny was an enslaved woman who escaped and became a military leader of the Maroons, communities of escaped Africans who waged guerrilla war against the British for decades. From the early 1700s, Nanny's leadership and mastery of the jungle warfare helped the Maroons hold their freedom in the Blue Mountains, forcing the British to sign a treaty. Her legacy lives on as Queen Nanny, warrior, strategist, and a symbol of Black female resistance. So when people ask, why didn't they fight back? The truth is, they did. They fought in fields, in cane brakes, in secret rooms aboard ships, in dark forests, sometimes alone, sometimes side by side. Their courage shook empires. Their revolts didn't always succeed, but each one cracked the chains, showed fear among slaveholders, and lit a path for abolition. These 10 names remind us that freedom is never given, it's fought for again, and again by people willing to risk everything. So we remember them: Gabriel, Vesey, Turner, Deslandis, Madison, Washington, Jimmy, Tacky, Celia, Nanny, and Sharp. They fought, and so must we.